today, I suppose why not some mm, uh, another random Japanese horror movie. Yeah, why not? I mean, yeah, why not? Funny enough, this is from Toei apparently. No, yeah, I realized Toei is a huge corporation. These huge ones always do all sorts of stuff, but it's kind of funny because it's also a like I think the publisher of a lot of shonen anime as well. So anime generally aimed at children, and yeah, it also has some stuff. And in this case, I really have no idea what this is about, but it looks like really strange. This is probably going to be one of the strangest horror movies I've watched recently. I mean, in the sort of poster image, there's a on the poster image isn't that absurd, but the image that there is on this player, which I assume is some random image from the middle. I don't know. This some mask like similar to the one that they use in Johnny Darko, and the title, to say the least, is quite strange as well. So in Japanese, this is called Sento Sojo Chi no Tetsu Kamen Densetsu, which apparently means. Please, I'm assuming this is just Sento Sojo, not the rest. I'm not sure what the rest means. We'll see later. It's in English. It's Mutant Girls Squad. Now, as I say, I have no idea what it is about. Just says it's action horror. That's pretty much all I know about. I don't generally try to read summaries either, so I really, you know, I don't know if it'll be sexualized or anything, considering as uh, I'm assuming not, but who knows? I mean, yeah, and I have no idea how they're mutant either. Like, is it technological or is it radiological? You know, of course, to say the least, to be bizarre. There was Look, I'm just going to begin this. Okay, I have no idea what it's about, and we all know Japanese horror is wild, but you know, and even though this sounds like it could easily be based off manga, since it's so weird. Yeah, I don't know, just manga does tend to be weird, then, but it's not. Doesn't seem like it is. This is a genre safe, isn't? Hopefully, that's the case. It remains the case. Yeah. And so, yeah. So this is directed by someone called Nobuo Iguchi, and he has some weird movies, and I'm starting to suspect that there might be some sexual element to them because of the titles of all of his movies. Most of which, apparently, the common word is girl for some reason. Huh. Yeah, these this might very well be have might very well have. 'Cause he's a director of an adult video. Is it like euphemism in Japan for porn adult video? I don't think it's called adult video anywhere else, is it? Hmm. Well, I could always like see what it's like, and then just not watch any more movies of his. If it's not, if, I'm open to watching those things really, as long as it's not full blown porn. I mean, which normally doesn't have plots anyway. I mainly watch for plot, of course. Yeah. And as I said, I selected this completely randomly, not based on the title or anything. Well, just ba- main, just based mainly on the genre. That's pretty much it. It's just the genre. So yeah, well, let's see anyway. Let's see. And yeah, after that first thing, I think I can safely say, what the fuck? I well, who comes up? Who comes up with this shit? Right? Wow. I mean, I thought Cops Party was the worst. No, apparently, it's like someone thought, let's make Cops Party look potentially sexier. So I don't know what. Who does that? Is this somebody in the world who gets stimulated by an exploding brain? I mean, what? Uh, just I don't know. This guy is worse than Takashi Miike. I'm assuming that. I mean, this is unbelievable. This has nothing on One Missed Call. One Missed Call is tame in comparison. And then, of course, after that initial scene, we get a completely domestic, tame, actually tame thing in the same movie. I guess you could, yeah. I'm just wondering why couldn't have become this, but then again, it makes sense. I mean, if you're going to end up as strange as that, you may as well warn everyone that it is strange from the very first scene. So people who, I mean, yeah, I'm not inclined to just stop. And then we get the usual bullying storyline, which justifies the late destruction of the bullies, of course, which makes sense from a cause and consequence perspective. But obviously at the very beginning, the first scene had no cause, which generally makes it make the least sense. And wow, yeah, and yeah. I don't even know I even bothered to treat this as some sort of normal film, normal movie. Yeah, yeah. Obviously, this can't quite be called a film. Of course, this is just a jumbled weirdness, really, at best. That's at best. And, just I can sort of understand when there's fight scenes in movies. And a lot of horror films seem to think that gore is somehow essential but I don't think I've ever watched one so far which somehow tries to include some sort of supremely bizarre se- sexual element. I can't even describe it. There's no one in the world could possibly ever be stimulated by any of this nonsense, right? I mean, I mean, obviously on the surface, you get like I don't know, normal schoolgirls, but I mean, what the hell what? What's up with her father? That was the most bizarre thing ever. I mean, at this point, I might as well expect these people to just still be alive after being decapitated. I mean, what? I just, um, yeah, and I thought, y- y- I thought Guns was gory, and Guns in comparison is perfectly sensible. This is unbelievable. This is just the first 15 minutes as well. 15 minutes. I don't know what to say. I think I can safely say that this is one of the most disgusting things ever. But what it does have, something like Corpse Party, which was also equally disgusting. To be honest, I mean, these kind of movies really try to compete against themselves just to see which one is the most disgusting. Um, so yeah, uh, with regards to the only thing this has, the sliver of silver lining that this has is the humor. It has some sort of humor. I mean, it's very difficult to see through all the this nonsense, but uh, um, but there is some humor. Of course, Plaza didn't have that. Despite the gore, they included some humor. I Yeah, it's there. It's like a grain among the all the shit, but it's there somewhere. But seriously, this is one of the most. I mean, yeah, it's not trying to make sense. It is explicitly absurd, but otherwise, I mean, I don't know why they even try anything. Like, why was she timid at the beginning? Supposedly was about to cut herself, and yet somehow suddenly she's some sort of karate black belt or whatever, and then she's fighting absolutely everyone. And also, why is everyone simply running into her? Like, these people do not. I mean, what people don't do that, do they? If people see that somehow, the ones who ran before them uh, have ended up being cut into pieces, like, who the hell would I don't get it. Who the hell would go out and I don't know why I even bother. Okay, and uh, wow, the so-called treasures. Well, what can one say about that? This thing surpasses itself on stupidity and weird randomness. But at least, as I say, there is a slither of humor that Cops Party completely lacked. They are all quite similar in the gory aspect, of course, and as it happens, apparently, there's someone called Kishiwagi, yeah. That's what I remember. That's the name of the school. So I don't know what it is about Kishiwagi, but it seems like it's stuck to some gory Japanese stories, I guess. I don't know. And again, I think it was. I think I've encountered it in other things as well that weren't like this. So I don't know. It's a seriously strange one. I mean, on one hand, it has a lot of God I really don't care about. But then there's some random stuff that on its own would be interesting, but in conjunction with the gore and in addition to which it tries to be somehow sexualized in the weirdest possible way. I mean, the way this so-called it's really strange. I mean, in a way, the I mean, the gore of it makes it disgusting, but so does this strange sexualization thing. I mean, it's just the most bizarre thing I've ever encountered, honestly. Like, in a way, it is like gore itself, and in another way, I mean, I'm assuming besides this so-called director, there aren't many others who do something similar. Most rely on gore in terms of the horror genre to try to be disgusting, and there aren't many which are explicitly disgusting as well, besides Corpse Party, which really tries its best to be as disgusting as possible. So in a way, this is, I suppose, slightly more interesting because it has a sliver of humor and some sort of randomness, which on its own is interesting as I said. But I don't know why it just forces through so much needless gore that's really is so capricious, along with this really strange sexualization that makes no sense whatsoever. And I doubt any individual at all would find truly somehow sexy at all. Like it's the most bizarre thing ever. Obviously, sometimes it's trying to do it for humor purposes as well, but it mostly comes off as disgusting. No, it's just like what the hell. Yeah, and cannot believe they're painting this as some sort of perverted X-Men. Uh, yeah, pretty much, I suppose. Gory X-Men as well. I don't think X-Men was gory. It had conflicts and battles. I remember that it being this bloody or gory. So what, what exactly are they trying to say by having you know, I love Texas have a anus chainsaw? Yeah. Um. Ooh. You know, this stuff, despite its emphasis on gore, which is also an emphasis that many other horror films have, does have at least some sort of imagination besides this sliver of humor. So in that sense, it's interesting, as opposed to something like Corpse Party, which really is just gore and that's it. That's just it. It's you know this this has something more, just a slight. I mean, the gore is still capricious. There's so much of it. Uh, but there is yeah, slightly a bit, you know, it barely has a plot. It doesn't really either. So, it's it doesn't really stand up to anything like anything serious with a plot under normal circumstances. But as far as imagination goes, again, I don't know if we could call it imagination. I mean, they just it's like a just true things and just saw but stuck. That's pretty much it. Just I cannot believe, I mean, some of them are completely impractical. Like, you know, yeah, an English chainsaw is impractical. I am sorry to say, it's just impractical. Like what? Are you just going to just fight backwards all the time? I mean, that is, you know, obviously, this is nothing to do with whether it stands as a movie, whether it's cohesive or I mean, not accusing it of being cohesive, and I don't think it intends to be. So, as far as this goes, so yes, capricious go, but at least there's something other than that. There's a slight bit of humor and slight bit of imagination as well. I suppose one could say it does like plot, but at least it's I guess it has two out of four in the sense of those four. But yeah, this is definitely one of the strangest things ever. I mean, I cannot deny it was more just a slight. I mean, I don't know. It's relative ultimately, but you know, when it comes to something like Corpse Party, it's just depression all the way through and disgust mainly. This, on the other hand, well, a tempered disgust with the slither of humor and randomness. I mean, the randomness really went over the top. Then I suppose that's what randomness is supposed to be about. Just unexpected stuff. And there wasn't a lot of humor, but there was a bit which sort of tempered it. It was more physical sort of humor than, you know, and it was very much integrated along with the attempts at gore. Well, if every movie of this director is like this, I'm not seeking to watch more soon after, but I wouldn't totally rule out the others. There is something possibly interesting, sort of like Takashi Miike, It's well, I wouldn't just watch one after another of his, but occasionally, I suppose, why not? As I said, though, even one missed call is tame in comparison to this. Very tame indeed. This was unbelievable. I don't even know. I mean, apparently there's Tokutsu or whatever, however it's pronounced. They were all they were all directed by different. All the chapters were directed by different people. Let's see. So the one I was thinking of directed the second chapter apparently, where they invade the party. This was so bizarre. Wow. Yeah. So well, not stopping a movie after just as I mean I don't know will I regret never stopping. Who cares, right? I watched I suppose it doesn't matter. It's not one of the. It's not like watching Shawshank Redemption or something. Obviously, is it? It's just whatever this is, right? Yeah, whatever. Whatever. I think we can just leave it as whatever. It's very whatever. Yeah, whatever. 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 You know. Whatever, whatever.